12 gauge. You need shells?
Yeah, double O.
The Winchester Model 1897, one of America's most historic firearms, used in conflicts around the globe years before World War I, all the way up to the Vietnam War. Over 1 million M97s were built between 1897 and 1957, and they remain highly collectible today in all their variants. On film, the M97 has well over 100 appearances. So let's take a look at this historic firearm and some of the movies it's featured in.
Just do your work.
The M97 was an upgrade of the earlier model 1893 shotgun, designed by John Browning, at a time when pump-action shotguns were a new concept. The M97 would become the first widely successful pump-action shotgun produced. The M97 gave an individual an incredible amount of short-range firepower in a reliable package that could also utilize the relatively new smokeless powder shells. Most M97s held up to 6 shotgun shells in the magazine tube.
Now, are you ready to go to work? Where are we going? On a liquor rig.
Many shotguns of the 21st century would be judged in relation to the standards of the Winchester Model 1897. The M97 is easily identified on film versus its contemporaries by its external hammer.
They're firing back at us.
There are several common versions of this shotgun found in cinema, the majority of which are 12 gauge, though the M97 was also sold in 16 gauge. Probably the most famous version of the M97 is the trench gun variant, which offers a shorter 20-inch barrel, heat shield, and bayonet lug.
Let's go find 2 more.
The riot gun is probably the most common version you'll find on film. It's the same length as the trench gun, but lacks the heat shield and bayonet lug. This was most commonly used by the police or security transporting money.
Why, evening, Mr. Dillinger.
Howdy. What's your name?
Reed Youngblood.
It's also good to note that many of these collector shotguns are Norinco-made M97 clones. You can see Josh Brolin sawing the barrel off one in No Country for Old Men. Obviously a smart choice over destroying an authentic M97, as they can be rather pricey in good condition. The M97 was customizable. Barrels could be ordered up to 36 inches in length. Here's Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black, holding a field M97. This is the same actor who played Private Pyle in Full Metal Jacket.
Projectile weapon on the ground.
You can have my gun when you pry it from my cold dead fingers.
Winchester M97 variants were also offered as a solid frame or as a takedown, shown here with Tommy Lee Jones playing a Vietnam veteran in the 1977 classic Rolling Thunder. Takedowns, of course, are easier to clean and transport.
Let's go clean them up.
Winchester made the 1897 a highly marketable shotgun, as it was popular with American soldiers, the police, and hunters. Though most people associate the M97 with World War I and its brutal trench gun reputation, its military application started well before that, and it was used in pre-World War I conflicts, such as during the Philippine-American War and Mexican-American Border War.
We knew everything, from the moment you set foot in Mexico, even before.
In The Wind of the Lion, the M97 is shown frequently used during the Perdition incident involving U.S. Marines in Morocco. Though this film is overall very ahistoric, it's a good Connery classic, showing the significant early use of the M97 with American forces.
I'll see you again, Mrs. Fetticass.
By World War I, the M97 had already proved itself useful in close-quarter combat, and was popular with American troops at the onset of the war for America. Interestingly, however, it is in very few World War I productions. It does, however, show up frequently in World War II films, where it was also a popular weapon.
Set up defense positions. Chick, bed him down for the night.
Harry?
There are a few reasons why the trench gun shows up so rarely in World War I films. One being is that there are so few World War I American movies. The more interesting reason, though, is perhaps the controversy that was once surrounding the trench gun, which actually led the American military to censor photographs of the weapon during the war. The M97 was extremely effective in trench conditions. The M97 trench gun held 5 shells of buckshot, each containing 9 .33 caliber pellets. It was also issued to American soldiers who already had experience pre-war with the weapon, including those who were trap shooters, with the claim they could blast an enemy hand grenade right out of the air. In World War I, infantry often called the M97 a trench sweeper, because unlike most modern shotguns, you can simply hold down the trigger of the M97 and it'll continue to fire every time the action is closed. This reputation and brutal effectiveness led to Germany making a political protest, alleging the shotgun breached the rules of war.
You got a warrant?
Sure, here's my warrant.
Oh! Oh!
How do you think he feels now?
Of course, this protest didn't hold much weight, as the German army basically pioneered the use of flamethrowers and gas during World War I. Though all being said, you can see how if an American movie wanted to use a trench gun in its historic trench sweeper application, it would greatly up its censorship rating. Lending itself to the menacing reputation of the M97 was also the vicious optics of a bayonet on a shotgun, which most certainly was used in close-quarter fighting, the kind that took place with this weapon. A bayonet-mounted shotgun is a very rare thing to find in cinema. I actually had to go to the gaming universe and anime to find one, but it does give you an idea of the intimidating look.
Let me at him, I'll blast him out of this work. Give it to him. Now!
In World War II, the M97 remained a popular firearm, and was used by the United States Army and the Marine Corps, who found it particularly useful in thick jungles or during the clearing of Japanese bunkers or fortifications. By the end of World War II, the Model 1912, usually called the Model 12, largely replaced the M97. The Model 12 had an internal hammer design, but shared several features of the M97, such as having no trigger disconnect, so it could be fired as fast as one could pump the action, sometimes known as slam firing.
All right, blast him. I'll crush his skull.
So was the M97 a good gun? Almost in every way. Commercially a success, effective in the battlefield, well built, and revolutionary for its time.
Band, how? Play some traveling music.
Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching this video on an American classic firearm. As always, I'm just a movie fan and not a gun expert or historian, so feel free to add any info in the comments section below, and we'll see you in the next video.